YouTube and the Auburn fan base. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. We're talking Auburn football down in Deep South. College football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. Please go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. Got an interesting conversation today. We're not going to talk about the new recruits, and we're not going to talk about the, not necessarily talk about the buzz that Hugh Freeze has created with recruiting down at Auburn. We're not going to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is the emotion of the fan base at this point. Now, like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Now, what I really want to talk about is over the past few years, let's just be honest. Auburn's program has been in disarray, has been full of dysfunction, whether it's from the administration, the fans, and you have these fan boards on Facebook where the fans just blatantly talk bad about the players, and the players' parents are on these same platforms, and it's just been an absolute mess here for the past few years. I would say since 2019, pretty much over the past few years, Auburn has, become accustomed to disarray. And what's sad about it is it had become a normalcy, for the complaining and this player's not doing this. And then you have the parents that come back. It's just been absolutely terrible. Now, but here we have a situation where Hugh Freeze, who has pretty much put out the fire that was trying to ablaze of his past with some of the, situations that he had in the past, and has put himself in a situation to where he's completely gotten Auburn to a point to where he's in alignment with the staff. The fans really can't complain about him. But is that something that the Auburn fan base is ready for? Now, I know that doesn't make sense to ask that question. I know it doesn't make sense because we're so accustomed to complaining about the coach, complaining about what the coach is doing, complaining about the fact that the coach is not recruiting, complaining about the coach is not putting the players in the best positions to be successful. But is the Auburn fan base as a whole ready for some degree of normalcy? I would go out on the chopping block and say the last time Auburn has had some degree of normalcy from the head coach was in that second year and kind of sort of towards the end of the Tuberville era. And that was an era where Auburn was able to be victorious over Alabama 6 times straight, won an SEC championship, was in the conversation, pretty much each year, was very respectable during those times. And then even Coach Tuberville's era ended on a very controversial, I would say, somewhat irresponsible note. But the question on the floor, and I want anyone to comment, is Auburn ready to get past the dysfunction? Is Auburn ready to get past the lack of normalcy of what a top-tier college football team would enjoy? Are many of you Auburn fans because of the dysfunction? Now, I'll say this. The reason why I say this is because I know for a lot of you all who may or may not be deep divers or deep thinkers will be like, what the hell is this video about? This video is about, can Auburn move past the dysfunction? Now, as it turns out, the first couple of games of Auburn season, they're going to be on ESPN. Why does ESPN choose Auburn of all teams to choose? They know it's going to be a dramatic ending. They know it's going to be entertaining. They know that, you do a game in Jordan-Hare Stadium, the crowd is absolutely just energetic and tenacious. And Auburn shows up and usually are pretty competitive with any team they play. They might not win, but they're usually pretty competitive with any team they play. The disappointment in Auburn's last opportunity on the big stage at home was Penn State. I mean that was pretty embarrassing. But Auburn gets to go out to California. They play against the Bears, who I think the California Bears are going to be just as athletic and just going to be as physical as Auburn. They've done a good job in the transfer portal. And that is a game where Auburn has a huge opportunity to showcase to the nation what they have to offer, especially with this whole recruiting trend going on. And the reason why they're going to do it, because there ain't nobody else playing at 10:30 at night. Kickoff time, if I may, which I think is the case. I mean, that game is going to be played pretty late. And it's going to be a Pac-12 versus SEC game. Now, the reason why Auburn is usually an attractive team for these teams out of conference is Auburn is a mainstay in the SEC. They've had some success in the SEC. The SEC, obviously, from a perceptual standpoint, one of the probably the most powerful conferences in the country, especially with the onset of Texas and Oklahoma, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. But you play that game late at night. Nobody else is playing football, and what a better stage for Auburn to really show their brand than a continental trip out to California and actually having the opportunity to be victorious over California. And with the overhaul of the roster, I mean, it could very well take place. But like I said before, the question on the floor is Auburn ready to get past the dysfunction? And just from the looks of things, I mean, it's been real quiet. I remember years before, these recruiting boards, these Facebook platforms, even some of the YouTube platforms was filled with emotion about the disconnect between the coaching staff in and of themselves and the coaching staff with the administration at Auburn and the inability to recruit in state. I mean, you look at it, Auburn is really pouring it on with recruiting in state and might have the opportunity to even flip some more guys. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Is Auburn ready to get past the dysfunction? Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War, damn, Eagle.